Hi guys, welcome to this system here. This is my ISO builder, and I started this system with the ISO of 2020 7.6. So the point is that you keep rolling. You don't need to install everything, you just update, and that's it. That's what the rolling release is all about. I thought it might be a good time to make a overview of the project. I see some questions popping up here and there. And of course, if you've not followed our growth, our path of 4 years development, you probably gonna have a lot of questions. So here it is, a video to tell you guys, okay, look, this is ArcoLinux, this is how we came in existence and all that. So ArcoLinux info is where we start. The info website is the website where there's information. And let's start in the past. Like 4 years ago, I started working with another team. I was not just a member at some point in time, and it is called ARCH Labs. At some point in time, I got the responsibility to build the ISO, so I learned how to build ISOs. Before that, I never did anything like that. So started to build, like on a daily basis, maybe two ISOs, all that, and learning how to create an Arch Linux based distribution on myself, not with somebody else, nobody talking to me, unless maybe a nice reference to our our capable friend Midfinger. Maybe you've seen that these videos already, but he's passed away, and I hope I have a little bit of legacy. Well, I hope I can help people as well as he did, to promote Linux in general, and we just happen to be on Arch Linux. That's it for me, in my eyes. So back in those years, I tried to figure out how should I package things, how should I build things, and so on and so on and so on. Then there was this break, and we said, okay, this is not the way I want to go, and Arch Labs split in two and became Arch Labs one side and Arch Merge. The idea of the name was that we have OpenBox on i3, which is the Arch Labs concept, but OpenBox is not a real desktop, so we needed anyway XFCE to manipulate Power Manager, for example, or the screen shooter, etc., etc. So there was already a lot of XFCE stuff in there. Then grew the idea, okay, let's add XFCE. And that's the merge idea, Arch Merge. Start with XFCE, which is a very simple, nice, beautiful, efficient desktop system, right? This is XFCE. And then learn maybe OpenBox, why not? Or learn how to use a tiling window manager. And I kind of fell in love years ago with, I always say it's a hate-love relationship, because i3, when you install it, it's nothing. There is no config. Well, there is a standard config, and it really is not for noobs. Simple as that. You need to dive into the code and type all kind of things until finally something works on your system. So it was really a love thing. Then I dropped it and I said, this is a waste of my life, right? And then picked it back up and such and such. And so I moved i3 over to Solus, to Ubuntu, to wherever I went. I took my i3 configuration with me, and that's what you get now. This experience of all these distros, and this i3 configuration is coming from there. Okay, then we heard that the Arch Linux guys don't really like us using Arch, the word Arch, right? So Arch Merge, Arch Labs, not good. They don't like it. So we came in contact and said, okay, let's ask about this and let's discuss this. What should we do, right? Arch Merge. Maybe there's still an article. I don't know if we have anything here. Arch Merge evolves into ArcoLinux. So rebranding. And the only thing we did is we typed in, we have these websites where you can type in a word and you get the result is like 30, 40, 50 languages. And Arch, the word Arch, is often translated as Arco or Arca in all kinds of languages. So we asked our fiat, or you say that, we asked the guys of ArcoLinux, is it okay if we renamed ourselves to ArcoLinux? Do you mind? No, we don't mind. It's not Arch, so go ahead. So that's the timing, well, really early timing there. After choosing Arch Merge, we went to ArcoLinux, but then of course this is a major change in the sense that we need all the websites, we need all the, you name it, anything needs to be rebranded. Icons, well, icons, not the logo, needs to be revisited and all that. So it's a lot of a big change basically. The naming, you name it, the packages, it is months and months of work, and even a year later we still found traces of Arch Merge somewhere in codes. Like, it is huge. So okay, then we had this ArcoLinux name, and the idea back then was, okay, let's provide people with a ISO that contains XFCE, OpenBox and i3. So that's the educational part. We have here the project. Where can I find this project? Maybe here, I don't know, let's have a look. So I'm looking for a particular image about the, this is it, about the learning path, right? So I am a teacher. I am teaching at a university. I've taught Linux, I've taught mail servers, FTP servers, you call it, you name it, and of course also Windows stuff. But I look at the project as a teaching project, as a sharing knowledge, and of course me learning as well, because I'm a noob, right? In the beginning, everybody's a noob, so noob is a good word for me. That said, I want to gradually ease you into things. You can teach, if you want to teach something to people, you can't go all full out with very complex things. You're very in the beginning you start in white and black, small steps, baby steps. That's why I also tell myself, right, baby steps. Can't know this, I can't figure this out, but I will figure it out. Give yourself time. That's what we always say. ArcoLinux, it's a 3-year study. If you say, okay, I believe in this thing. This ArcoLinux provides lots and lots of tutorials, 2000 YouTube tutorials at this point in time. And I suppose all of it, probably everything that that you're looking for, is probably already on video. It's already documented in articles and in videos. But the idea is that you choose your own path, because we're not starting with the same knowledge and level of knowledge, right? And not everybody is keen on tiling window managers and so on. So today, and that's the date of today, our ISO has changed. Our ArcoLinux ISO, which has OpenBox, XFCE, OpenBox and i3. The idea, we left it, we say, okay, you can still follow the learning path, but it's an option. You install, and then maybe we should better go to downloads here maybe. You either use the ArcoLinux XL ISO, and it does not contain OpenBox i3, but it can contain OpenBox and i3. So that's the idea of the release of the May release of 2021 is all about freedom, opening everything up in the sense that you decide whether you like to start with XFCE and BSPWM, or XFCE and Qtile, because I've been reading, of course, I follow what you're saying on Discord and on Telegram, and I see that people sometimes have choices because of their university. I want to learn Qtile because, right, I need the language, I need to learn about this language, or I want to go for Lua, so I'm going to go for Awesome. So those are very personal choices, and from now on, this May release, you have this choice, this possibility is there. And the ArcoLinux XL, like any product you buy, it's a big thing, right? XL, and XS is small. So XL contains a lot of software pre-installed already on the ISO, and the other one, XS, is just XFCE. So you decide inside Calamares if you got an online, if you are online, then Calamares can get them for you, Planck and GIMP and VLC and etc. etc. So that's a choice. Either go with our selection of tools. This is our selection. This is basically our flagship. This is what we use to develop. The other one, XS, is small, which means it's just XFCE. That's it. And some stuff, of course, from us. But the other third-party software like Atom, Sublime Text, Inkscape, Firefox, you decide if you like it. You decide it during Calamares. Now, so this is a split, right? We used to have one ISO. Now we've kind of split it in two. People who want software straight away on their machine and people who rather like to decide it for on their own. I said, just give me XFC. I'm fine with XFC, but I want to have this and this and that. Not only can you choose your applications, but you can choose also 22 desktops. Here they all are. You can choose whatever you like, and they'll have still a few empty spaces left for others. So that's what we had in the future, right? The flagship, XFC, OpenBox i3, kind of split in two with just XFC now, but during Calamares installation. You can install more like Xmonad or any of those 22 desktops, or you choose for the ArcoLinux XS. Now, going back in time, we created ArcoLinux ISO, right? XFC OpenBox i3. People were saying it's bloated, it's too much software, we don't want it. I said, okay. Then we went to look and go the entire other way, like ArcoLinux D. That's this one. ArcoLinux D is nothing, right? If you just say install, 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 don't choose anything on the Calamares installer, again, all the freedom is there. You can choose to install 22 desktops of them, and you can install all the applications you want. But the goal initially was, okay, so you think it's bloated, here you have an ArcoLinux D without anything, without desktop, without printing, without wireless, without anything. No applications, no desktop, no LightDM, no SDDM. The idea is, this is the most basic or minimalistic distro or ISO we can give you. It's just the basics. And then you say sudo pacman -s SDDM. Let's enable it. Let's install sudo pacman -s plasma. Boom. And it's up to you to do all the rest. Theming, icons, you name it. It's all still a work in progress. It's entirely up to you. So this is more pre-fabricated. It has a look, it has a theme, it has a feel. It's a choice of applications. This will also have a look and a feel, and everything will work. But the applications or the desktop can be added extra. XFC is there, but you can have two desktops, right? You can have i3 and XFC. We've done it for 3-4 years. XFC 4, OpenBox i3. It works. You can mix it. Sometimes you cannot mix it. But that's entirely your freedom and your knowledge. You have to figure out, okay, deeping is maybe better left alone on one ISO, on one system, not mixing it with something else. Or Plasma maybe as well. I would keep that one as well, apart from all the rest, because of the lots of the packages it comes, delivers actually. And then we had people saying, okay, look, we have this ISO, big ISO, we called it the flagship, right? XFC, OpenBox, i3, all the software. Of course, we could never make the correct selection. I don't like Firefox. I do like Firefox. I like Brave. I like Min. I want to have a Tor browser, etc., etc., etc. People want to have Office. Well, which office? There's so many offices out there. So it was never good. Why? Because it's our choice and it's not their choice, right? So then we gave you all the knowledge to build your own ISO. That's this one. Now we pre-built all these ISOs for you, but that's not why we created it. We give you the power to build your own ISO and you decide what goes on there. There is already some software on there, minimal software, pre-installed, like a browser or a text editor, because you want to have something let me just do this here, because you want to have to look something up, right? Go to the internet, look something up, or edit scripts or config files. But basically the B, it's a file. Anybody can edit a file and type something, a package extra, like I want to have Steam on my machine. Go ahead. It's called ArcoLinux-meta-steam. That's our packages. It's guaranteed to work. And so on. There's Lutris. There are so many games that are interesting in Linux. You can install it on the ISO. So you have your own personalized ISO. And that's the ArcoLinux B power that we gave you. So I hope it's a little bit more clear, right? All these divisions that we have and how it came about, the ideas that behind it. And now maybe to the website. So if this is where you start, there is the news and the releases, lots of whole things, the reviews of other people and the testimonials. This is actually an interesting page for me, right? From time to time we get texts on YouTube or Discord or something like that, and if we're kind of down, if you don't have any energy anymore, this is the good place to go, because these are people telling you what a good work, what good job we've done. And well, yeah, it gives us energy, right? It gives us energy. Getting compliments, yeah, it's always nice, but yeah, it's great. So we have the ArcoLinux website, the ArcoLinux.com website. Here again, the learning path. And here we have articles that are not really for a desktop. There are general, like kernels, NVIDIA drivers. And there are so many topics in here that are interesting. And we always have a start here. So if you're new to ArcoLinux, I guess this is where you start. Start here. And every website of these guys here have a start here. So you know what to go for first. And then later on, you go more like something's happening to a keyboard, or there's something with LightDM or login and so on. You just handpick whatever you like. And of course, there's the search up here. Search anything you like. Okay. So, all right, a general look, and maybe a listing is also worth mentioning. I mean, there is this, sometimes beginners don't know what to look, what name to type. If you don't have the technical wording or terminology, they can't Google, right? So this might help. Go over the listing and see at the texts that are in here. And lots of conkeys. So if conky is your thing, watch them all, right? Get the knowledge in. Lots of fixes. Look at it. Lots of fixes, but also fun. And sometimes maybe we struggle with grub or want to change the theme, the look of grub. There is so many articles already available. So please have a look. Then, so the ArcoLinux D ISO, the ArcoLinuxD.com website. The idea is here that we are in phase 2 and phase 3. So have a look what that means here. Basically, we start with the ArcoLinux D ISO. Remember, the B was not inside. There was no idea that came later. Providing you the ability to build your own ISOs was later. First, ArcoLinux D. And then we provide scripts. We give you the ArcoLinux D ISO. and you type sudo pacman minus s xfc4, xfc4 goodies. Boom, you've got a desktop. Then we continue. What if you wanted to have blank? What if you wanted to have etc.? So these phase 2 things are ArcoLinux D, and then we start building it up. Installation of ArcoLinux D XFCE. In the meantime, ArcoLinux D ISO has changed so considerably, right, that it's not anymore the case that it's just a bare minimal installation. But you can choose in Calamares whether to have a new kernel in, another kernel in, Linux Zen, or maybe BSPWM, or maybe Plasma, and so on. There is so much freedom that is now here, but was not there years ago. So that's this. And the old ArcoLinux D, meaning go through the installation, don't install anything, and then we go and we start with scripts. Like I said to you, sudo pacman minus s openbox, and so on. And then the phase 3, so these 3 are on our flagship. We used to be on our flagship, right? XFC openbox i3. And then we get all the rest. So 22 minus 3 should be 19 of them. Now, and this phase 4 is jumping to ArcoLinux B, but I'm just gonna go over this, jump over this guy here. Phase 5 is doing the ArcoLinux installation. So in my view, I'm just working on Linux, but it's called, the basis is called ArcoLinux. What if you wanted to go and start to learn how to install ArcoLinux, the Arch way, that's how they say it, right? The Arch way. Old computers, new computers, and then they come together. And we make videos from time to time. All in once means you download the ISO, boot up a virtual box, start installing. We get to a black screen, we type lots of code in, and then finally at the end we get Xmonad, or we get Qtile, or we get any of the desktops. And if you're on ArcoLinux, sometimes you miss stuff, right? You want to have the bash RC from ArcoLinux, update, all these things. You miss it, Scal, it's not there. So Spices is about making ArcoLinux back on ArcoLinux, because basically, and that's maybe a good thing to include in the video, basically this is the summary you need to look at. And I've done an analysis around the time I made this article, and it's like 2 or 3 weeks old. And again, you see very clearly that ArcoLinux is actually just ArcoLinux. All blue is Arch, and the rest is ArcoLinux. It looks small, but it's 4 years of hard work. And the third party, it's again not us, it's Vivaldi, it's Atom, it's Sublime Text, it's all that. It's packages that we want, we love, but are not from us, not being written or created by us. So bottom line, 93% of our packages we're just Arch, right? We could say Arch with a twist, Arch with a lemon, or something like that. I mean, we provide, of course, lots of knowledge and configuration went into it, time went to it, and making all these articles and videos, lots of work. But in the end, stepping away from the project, and you see the numbers. All right, so ArcoLinux D, phase 5 is the ArcoLinux way. And what do we have? We have ArcoLinux B, so that's phase 4. At some point in time, I thought, look, if it's never gonna be good enough, everybody has their own opinion what a distribution should be, right? We already have lots of spin-offs in our wake, which is good because that's our next topic. But this is basically your only your individual ISO. You create, you build your personal ISO, and then you burn it on USB and install it on your hardware. Voila, you've got your personalized system, and you choose here, in this case, whatever desktop you like and love, and you start setting it up. And then basically, again, 93% ArcoLinux, update, 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 and stay rolling. And of course, make backups for your .configs files, your dot files, as they say. If you want to reinstall or something happens, right? You wanted to try something out and it backfired, right? Make backups of the most important files on your system so you're easily back. There also, maybe I should mention that there are tutorials on here, right? Creation of Splasma. Just an idea of somebody online on Discord. I want to have ArcoLinux XS and Plasma. And it was Scott talking about Splasma. So, okay, voila. What if you can make so many combinations, and I can't make tutorials like that? I mean, 22 desktops. I can combine ArcoLinux B, G.I. Joe. This is GNOME and i3, I think, right? GNOME and i3. Here it is. I can make so many combinations with 22 desktops. You can do too, and here it is, ArcoLinux B extended, all explained. I mean, this is like tons of knowledge of how to create your own ISO ArcoLinux B. All right, look at the length, and sometimes these videos like 2 hours, right? It's like work. It is. 16, 17 videos already, 18 videos, still scrolling. Look at that. All right, we're not done. ArcoLinux ISO. At some point in time, we said, let's make a project how to build an ArcoLinux ISO, not an ArcoLinux ISO. So what we just talked about is building an ArcoLinux B ISO, an ArcoLinux ISO. This is still a proper ArcoLinux ISO, the B website, right? This thing is about building an ArcoLinux ISO, a customized ArcoLinux ISO. ArcoLinux is not involved. Repositories are not involved. It stands on its own. And the idea here is really to start from scratch. So this is all to be binge watched. You shouldn't try building Carly 1. That's like a year and a half ago. All the packages have changed, all the keys have changed. It doesn't work like that. It's constant evolving. But this is binge watching material. What did we encounter? How did we solve it? How did we analyze it? What tools do we use to build it? How do we sign packages? How do we make a repo? It's like everything from A to Z, how to create your own distribution, right? This is how to create your own distribution. The thing had to have a name, right? Carly's customized ArcoLinux ISO. You can name your own distro anyways if it's your decision. But the point is, we start with one central package, Arch ISO. That is the package that's used to create ArcoLinux ISOs from arcolinux.org. The one you download there has been created with Arch ISO. And then we start figuring all kinds of things out, comparing things here. Just look at the titles already. Maybe the listing again is interesting to quickly see what's happening here. Carly 1, Carly 2, Carly 3. So the titles you see already more or less package builds. We explain package builds to you. There's so much knowledge in there for people who want to start from scratch and build their own distribution, their own ISO, based on ArcoLinux, of course. This is all explained. All right. And then at some point, here's the goal and vision, maybe also explains more or less why we have this project. Okay. Only recently I got this idea, what if I install or I use Calamaris to install ArcoLinux? Installing ArcoLinux can be fun, right? But if it's done for the 50th time, you say, sigh, right? All the time to type all these commands in and then maybe make a typo and then have to start over again and so on. So these commands are fun, really fun. It's like making a system from scratch, right? Linux from scratch, also a very good example. How to learn about the system. Gentoo is also a very good way of learning. But you have to make decisions, right? I've made mine. ArcoLinux is for me a good way to learn. The Arch wiki of ArcoLinux has been my source, but it's not the only source. I have to stress that. All the knowledge that came on here for this one is not coming from ArcoLinux alone, right? Always combine whatever it is in life, always combine different websites. Just don't use one source, use 4, 5, 6 sources, and then to distill, is that the word? To synthesize what you need to do and take the best from everywhere. And that's this. This is the best from everywhere. All right. So with all that knowledge, I could think, let's make first Carly, and then later on, let's make ALCI. So let's go and visit that website. So ArcoLinuxISO.com, the only reference is this one. It was not in its place. It's not really ArcoLinux, right? It's Calamares. My knowledge of Calamares and ArcoLinux, that marriage, that's it. Nothing more, nothing less. How to put ArcoLinux and Calamares into contact so that I don't need to go into all these graphical, these black TTYs and start typing things, but rather have a pop-up like usual, like in most distros, that you say, I'm just gonna click where I live, I'm gonna say what keyboard I want to have, I'm gonna tell this is what I would like to have, X4 and Hibernate and swaps and all that, but that's it. And then 15 minutes later have a ArcoLinux installation. And you see it's only 25 articles. It's not that long, but it took time. It takes like 6 hours, 8 hours to work this idea out, right? It doesn't take long to create this, but making all the websites and the articles and the maintenance is what takes a lot of time. So this is another project separate from ArcoLinux where we have also the possibility to create an ISO, but again it's very minimal. It's without configs. It's like telling XFC, XE4 goodies, and that's it. We don't have keyboard shortcuts. We don't have special customized actions in Thunar. We love them. They're not here. It's very bare. It's pure ArcoLinux, but a tool, a nice tool, a graphical tool, Calamares, to install ArcoLinux. And there are two, well, actually three. One where you say, look, let's make an ISO without anything on it. So basically you go and type sudo pacman -s and you say, I want to have tutal. And you decide to have LightEM, etc, etc, etc. You start typing. But it is already, a big chunk of work is already done. You already have lots of software from ArcoLinux. I don't think, it says so, no Xorg, but you can, right? You can. If you build this one and change the packages file list, you do have Xorg, you do have LightEM, you do have XFCE4, etc. Or you can have Cinnamon instead of XFCE4. It really is entirely up to you. But it will be, without configs, without soul, without look. It will be the standard XFCE, which is not bad, but it will be, this is already changed. Here we have already icons. This is not the standard one. This is a nice one, nice picture, but it's not the standard one. I believe we must have some pictures here somewhere around where the standard XFCE is. Maybe this one or that one, I don't know. But you know the look. Here it is. This is the standard look of XFCE with these icons, and with the bar up there, not the bar down here, with all this stuff here. It's all predefined. It's all configurations. So I'm at the end. That's an overview of the project ArcoLinux, how it started, and how it evolved, and maybe that this gives you some more sense of what all this is, and why all these changes and why all these choices. And choices make it difficult in life, I know that, but it's always a fight against giving you freedom and restricting it. And if I have to choose, I will always say I give freedom. I know there are distributions that use ArcoLinux and that restrict you. Say it's BTRFS, boom, or it's JFS, and there is no choice. And we do not believe in that. We say, okay, in the downloads you see here what file system to choose, and we gave you lots and lots and lots of choices. It's up to you. So you read, you Google, say X4, BTRFS, which is best, XFS, JFS, RiserFS, but it is possible. It's your freedom to choose. I don't want to take away your freedom. And that's what this May release was all about. Because also we boot now with NVIDIA. So some of us really need an ISO where the driver of the NVIDIA is present. Otherwise, they enter a black screen, right? So we added an NVIDIA driver to it. So I hope we have now an ISO that fits everybody, that will work for everybody. And I hope that this summary, this video, will give you an idea of the flexibility, the freedom, and the vastness of knowledge that we have, of ideas that we have, and of future projects, future ideas, your future ideas, your what ifs. You can find the tools, you can find the videos if you have, if you're there, if you're ready to start building and to start making your own ISOs and maybe make your own distros and go ahead. That would be awesome. That would be a great legacy to Midfinger. Well, I hope the best. Don't be discouraged if you think it's a chaos and it's too much information. Give yourself time. Rome wasn't built in one day. Stay hooked. Stay like a bulldog. Stay, well, invest the time to see the videos, to articles, and from time to time walk away. But then try again, and suddenly you say, oh, now I understand. And it's that point, it's that critical point that you need to get at, that you feel, all the puzzles come together. I see the image now. I have an operating system that I get, that I can maintain, that works for me. That you need to stay till that particular moment in time. And then you're good to go. You have a free operating system that just works for you because it's 93% ArcoLinux, and all the rest basically can be replaced with your settings, your configurations. All right, enough speeching. See you in on the net, and enjoy ArcoLinux.